Here in the highlands of Kravaseria, it's probably the last time this year that the sun will illuminate the hills clothed in the rich red colours of autumn. In the shadow of the newly renovated Catholic church, children from the local school keep warm with a game of soccer. The renovation of this medieval church is more than a simple restoration. It is also a symbol, a source of pride for the people of this part of Kosovo. It is a sign that the centuries-long iron grip of Islam and communism has finally ended. Families once threatened with persecution and death, who had to hide their Christian identity, can now live their faith openly. Today, children can approach Father Robert, the parish priest, and prepare for their first Holy Communion without fear. There is a sense of returning, of homecoming. The village of Kravaseria lies in the municipality of Malishevo. It's a poor region. Many of its inhabitants work abroad. Those who stay can barely make ends meet. Yet, despite the poverty, locals take pride in offering generous hospitality. A visit from their new parish priest is a great honor for every family. Accompanied by nuns, Father Robert visits the home of Imer Bitucci. Not long ago, Imer received the sacrament of baptism, and soon his children will also be baptized.
My father told me that once we were all Catholics, and that's what I have become. I lived in Slovenia for 20 years, and I always went to church there. None of my working colleagues made a problem about it. They all came to my christening.
Imer's family, like the majority of people from the mountainous parts of Kosovo, belong to an underground community known as crypto-Catholics. The Kosovan Albanians call them ljaramani, or chameleonic. This phenomenon in the Balkans dates back to the 15th century, when this area fell to the Ottoman Empire. Unable to resist the pressure and terror imposed by the Turks, the majority of Kosovan Albanians publicly converted to Islam. However, some of them, in the remote mountain villages, in the privacy of their homes, continued to practice the Catholic faith. They never lost hope that one day they'd be able to cross the church threshold publicly once again without fear of reprisal. Dr. Yahaya Drantroli, professor at Pristina University, clarifies the historical context.
Crypto-Catholicism manifested itself in more or less an outward formula, not of the essence, but just to allay the pressures of sectarian levies, disturbances, violence, etc. Those who switched to crypto-Catholicism, they still subscribed to church stipulations. They attended liturgy, but out of sight. Show it publicly.
Ismet Sopi comes from the village of Lapushnik in the municipality of Drenica. He is a journalist and the owner of a local radio station. Like many crypto-Catholics, he's proud of his forefathers who, despite Turkish terror, held on to the Christian faith in his family.
For us crypto-Catholics, it was commonplace to practice both Islam and the Catholic faith in our homes. Islam came in mostly through the Muslim women who married into our culture, which had been a Catholic one for as long as I can remember. In our homes, we were aware of the feasts of Christmas, Easter, the Assumption, and the other big feasts. We'd light candles, make the sign of the cross, and pray. We'd celebrate Bayram all right, and Christmas and Easter was celebrated more symbolically. Funerals were led by Islamic clergy.
In this sense, the fidelity and dedication of the Albanian people to the Catholic Church was never broken. Bishop Dode Gjergji notes these deep historic roots.
We could
say that the Catholic Church in Kosovo is an apostolic church. The Church of St. Paul and the Albanian people are a biblical people. We know that St. Paul wrote to the Romans, that he preached the gospel to the Illyrians, and that he brought the Illyrian people to the Bible. The Albanians were faithful to the Catholic Church. They were faithful to apostolic teaching up until the arrival of the Turks. From the 16th century onwards, and especially after the 17th, there was an Islamization of the Albanian people, so that the majority changed over. Despite this, even though they switched to Islam, they never gave up the Catholic faith.
This link with the Church didn't suit many regimes and enemies of the Albanian people. Throughout the 20th century in Kosovo, it was politically incorrect to emphasize the strong historical ties to the Catholic Church. However, to this day, there are numerous archaeological finds throughout the country, evidence of an early Christian presence, which the political regime of the time prevented from being excavated. 4 kilometers from Kosovo's capital, Pristina, lies Ulpijana, one of the rare partially excavated sites of remains from an early Christian diocese.
I was born a Muslim, but I know my predecessors were Catholics, real Catholics. I did some documentary research in Dubrovnik, in Venice, in Rome. One of my ancestors was a bishop in Skadar, and he was impaled in 1691. It's interesting that the churches for Easter and other feast days are full of Muslims. I'm one of them. I'm always there for those celebrations. This phenomenon of Christianity and rediscovering one's roots, it is a phenomenon of knowing oneself. In all Albanian families, it is something that is discussed. In the coffee bars too. The whole Albanian people discuss their religious experiences and seek out what is best for them. They want to decide. I refer to it as a re-Christianization and re-Islamization of the Albanian people, because it is going in both directions at the same time. We have people who are being baptized, who wish to return again and publicly proclaim that they are returning to the Catholic faith. They are not leaving Islam, but rather they realize that they were never really Muslims. It's just that now they can proclaim it publicly.